Senator Hanson. Senator Hanson.
Thank you very much, Chair. Minister Cash, you've actually were the Minister responsible for bringing in the Registered Organisations Bill, weren't you? Known as the ROCS Bill.
That is correct, Senator Hanson.
Can you explain to me why you introduced that bill, the relevance to it?
I can, because there needed to be transparency in relation to the accountability of registered organisations, and as such we instituted the Registered Organisations Commission. It previously had a function within the Fair Work Commission itself, but we instituted it as a body.
And part of that registered organisations are the unions, is that correct?
Registered organisations are both employer and employee organisations, that is correct.
So by introducing this bill, and of course it brings all organisations, including the unions, under the scope of making sure they do the right thing by their members and where the money's spent.
That is correct. It applies to all registered organisations, regardless of whether you are an employer organisation or an employee organisation.
This bill at the time was heavily opposed by the unions, wasn't it?
That is correct, Senator Hanson.
So it's actually put them under the spotlight. So the whole, what I'm saying now at this time is, it's not having the raids have done through the ROCS organisation, the commission that actually organised the raids. It had nothing to do with your office. You didn't instigate the raids. You had nothing to do with it. You had no knowledge of it.
That is correct, Senator Hanson. And Mr Bilecki could probably take you through this. But in relation to what the Registered Organisations Commission determines that it may investigate, that is a matter for the Registered Organisations Commission. It is an independent agency.
Correct. To your best, you've been in Parliament for quite a while. When did you first get elected?
I was elected in 2007, but I took up my seat on the 1st of July 2008.
This would not be the first time that, talking about a leak to the media about raids being committed. This is not on an organisation. This is not the first time that leaks have been made from Parliament, is it?
Well, I think, as I stated this morning, when Michael Williamson and Craig Thompson were raided, there were media present, and that was under the former Labor government.
I would also like to put on the record that when the One Nation offices were raided,
Senator Hanson,
they were actually had the media there as well.
I would ask that you again refrain from political commentary and you keep to questions.
Right. Are you also aware that when One Nation was raided, there was media in attendance as well, so there, which were a leak from somewhere? Were you aware
I'm
that
certainly
media were
aware
there?
of reporting in the media in relation to what you have referred to, the raiding of the One Nation offices.
That's, it's quite well known in Parliament here there's usually leaks all the time throughout the Parliament on different matters.
Certainly I think the history of politics would show that there are leaks, yes.
Pauline, 1 minute.
I'll ask you directly, you know you're under oath.
I do, that is correct.
In any way, do you take responsibility for this leak of your staffer to the media?
As I have stated, my staff member indicated to me what had occurred. I was not aware of it at the time. What occurred took place without my knowledge and was not authorised by me. As a result of the admissions by my staff member, he resigned his employment.
Mr Cash, you're a very effective minister and you've
Senator
actually
Hanson,
put
Senator
pressure
Hanson,
on the unions.
I did say this was the last question, so I'm sorry, but I have to make sure.
Do you feel that this is a political witch hunt by the former union bosses now who are actually interrogating you?
Well, as I have stated, in relation to...
So order, we have 10 minutes to go. So if I could just ask
in relation to the matter at hand, Senator Hanson, ultimately the actual matter is in relation to, you are correct, an investigation by the Registered Organisations Commission in relation to whether or not donations made by the AWU at the time when Mr Shorten was the Secretary were properly authorised. That is the nature of the actual investigation of the Registered Organisations Commission.
Chair, would you just indulge me for one clarification?
Senator Hinch, as long as it's a